Wednesday edition of the Sports Cage. If you're watching the stream, there's a little aerial view of what we have to work with here. Colson's with me. Give him a wave, Colson. There he is. 3 hours after the CFL draft, after all the CFL news yesterday. We got a lot for you. Thanks for making time and tuning in. If you're watching on that YouTube feed, maybe you're listening on one of the audio streams or the old-fashioned stick. 100 years of greatness. 620 CKRM. We're going to break down the draft. We're going to hear from Jeremy O'Day on the draft, who we drafted, why we drafted them, what was difficult about the draft. Also, the global draft just wrapped up. The Riders picked up a couple of bodies there. We'll go through that. City Council tonight. The Brandt deal and that's all happening tonight. I can't wait. I want to know who's going. I don't think how lippy can we be if we're not going? I'm for it. So I think 99.9% of people that have texted in over the last few days are for it. One guy that was in the studio yesterday was on the fence, but we'll let that go. He's got bad judgment. We'll talk about that. Luke Mullinder, football analyst, Grey Cup champion, former Michigan State Spartan, is going to join us at about 3:20 today. You know Luke's going to be opinionated. I got questions for Luke. Maybe some of you have questions for Luke out there. Hour 2, we got to shift to hockey. Big sport in this country. The playoffs are on. Our NHL insider with Eric Francis getting bucked in Ireland. We're going to go with Jordan Schmaltz. Jay Swish, he's been on the show before. Super opinionated. Fun guy. And he loves the CFL.
Loves his Riders. Got a Pilsner jersey, right?
That's right. He owns a Rider jersey. So J Swish 24, J_Swish 24. If you want to follow him on social media, he's got a podcast too. So we'll talk to him in hour 2. We got Sprinkle of the Day coming up. Last night, not so good for me. We rebound today. We regroup and rebound. Hour number 3. If you're watching the stream, you see the hat I'm wearing. Love this organization. The new head coach and general manager of the Swift Current Broncos will be with us. Dave Thomas and Mike Pinball Clemens just had a little chit-chat up in Saskatoon. We're going to hear about that in hour 3 and more coming up. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, have you seen the pizza? With some NFL football tonight, maybe the kids are running around. Maybe you got a basement suite and you got nothing, I don't want to cook. Western Pizza pickup specials. If you don't like the pie or you're not feeling like the pie, how about a salad, souvlaki, lasagna, on and on and on. Western Pizza guest hotline is how everyone joins. And then you participate, which some of you already have, Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street. New Husqvarna line of lawnmowers and blowers and all that stuff is now in. So if you don't need a rental, you want to buy 600 Albert Street, deal with the owner. They also have the robotic lawnmowers. If you just want to sit back and let a robot cut your lawn. There's the tagline right there. Let a robot cut your lawn at Prairieland Rentals. 936-6262 is that number. All right, so the draft. Crapshoot, right? But Luke's got to be happy. Malcolm Bell was our first selection. What time did they end up making that? Because I was staying here. I was sticking around. I was going to go on, do the live sports, Colson, and then sports came and went, and we got into other programming, which we can't bump. What time did that actually happen?
6:10, 6:15.
Oh, so we were close.
Yeah. So it was into the second or third song of the hour.
We were close, and then I was like, offensive lineman, maybe a defensive, and no, they went with a defensive back. from Michigan State. So, you got video of it too. Look at Colson on the ball. Where's number 14 for Michigan State? He's 6'2", 188. Look at him on the blitz there. He's got some jets too. Played 12 games, making 11 starts as a senior with Michigan State. Earned career high in tackles, 49 tackles, 5 for a loss. Team high 6 pass breakups, added 1 sack. He's from Montreal. He lined up for a career high 717 snaps at cornerback. Most on the team. He recently accepted an invite to attend rookie minicamp with the Cleveland Browns. Oof. I like it. But what the heck do I know? Like I said, I think a lot of you out there yesterday too, you were like offensive linemen or defensive linemen, maybe a D end and all that, and they went off that. They surprised us and went with a defensive back. If you missed it earlier, Jeremy O'Day talks about the draft pick.
Malcolm Bell, he's a long corner, played at a high level at Michigan State. Very good coverage corner. Obviously, when you look at our roster, how we're constructed, we're starting with two DBs, going into camp, and just liked a lot about him from his tape and going through the interview process. And so, just a good player that played at a high level, and like I said, he's got length and speed.
Length and speed at corner. That's not a bad thing. And then the second pick out of Alabama State University, D-Lane Jute is his name. Wide receiver. I was like, I was wrong on the offensive line. First round, I was wrong on the pick in the second round. That was 18th overall. He spent, like I said, at Alabama State, 28 catches, 422 yards, 4 touchdowns over 12 games. Spent the previous 3 years at Wofford College. Never heard of it. Where he caught 56 passes, 772 yards. Completed the 40-yard dash. Here you go. Guess his 40-yard dash time, Cole. I know it's tough.
4.56.
Ooh, you're close for Jute. He said, it says 4.6, the CFL Combine. Right. And he's from Lévis, Quebec. Let's hear about what Jeremy O'Day had to say about Jute.
Yeah, so he's a receiver that we kind of liked kind of from the beginning, someone we went back and looked at multiple times, and different from the receivers that we have that are, a little bit bigger, but he's, a fast receiver, willing blocker, can do a lot of different things with him, and kind of how we're set up, see that he can play in multiple spots.
Okay, I'll bite early on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, Jeffrey. 1 or 2 O-line injuries could really screw up the Riders. Hot tip. 1 or 2 O-line injuries can really screw up any team if they're key. We saw it last year, and we thought we were deep at offensive line. We saw it the year before. But while we're on the subject, Riders made a signing today. Cat by the name of Percy Lewis IV. Not to be confused with Percy Lewis III. He played his senior season at Ole Miss. Get this. Are you guys ready for this? I got to say, how are they getting him to Saskatoon? He can't be on one of those little CRJ planes or whatever the small ones are, wherever he's coming from. He's from Salis, Mississippi. He also spent 1 season with Auburn, but he is 6'8", 380 pounds. You're saying there's some differing weights out there though.
Yeah, because the Riders are saying he's 380. I saw 3 Down was reporting that he's 391. I mean, 11 pounds. Either way, This is a humongous human being.
Wow. 6'8", 380. Now,
I'm curious if Luke's ever gone up against a guy who was like 6'8".
well, let's ask him when we get him on. The one thing that I noticed here, he's young. He wasn't drafted NFL or given a look at an NFL camp yet. So, began his collegiate career at a small community college in Mississippi Gulf Coast. Again, CFL, diamond in the rough, find him, but 6'8", 380. He's not coming in on a WestJet Encore flight. That is a big man. So yeah. Oh, we got comments on the draft. 936-6262 Dino. Dino's always texting in. Not trying to criticize Jeremy O'Day and his staff, but I find it interesting that we consistently pick players high that have 50-50 chance of coming to the CFL. I would think the strategy would be to pick players in the first 2 or 3 rounds that you know will come to training camp and then start taking some chances. But there's a reason why I'm not the GM and O'Day is. Dean, I get what you're saying, Dean. I think it is such a calculated risk. Are we safe to say that? Calculated risk across the board. And as you know, I'm a bit of a gambler. Brendan Sorsby style. But I don't know. How much due diligence do they do? Like, they gotta have some intel on if these guys wear these guys. Like, so I don't know, like Malcolm's gonna go and get a crack with Cleveland. I don't know much about the Cleveland secondary, but I think we all know Cleveland stinks. So maybe he's got a chance of sticking around there. So
I think their draft tag this year was they need every position but defensive tackle, which is where they have Myles Garrett. So they need everybody but Myles Garrett.
I still can't believe he stayed there. The other pick. What do we get him in the 6th round? Albert Reese the 4th. 5 years collegiate with Mississippi State, 48 career games, 22 starts. As a senior, he played and started in all 9 games, including 7 starts at right tackle. So this is the guy. He had strong play, earned him an invite to the 2026 American Bowl All-Star Game. Edmonton, Alberta native. Signed with the Carolina Panthers as an undrafted free agent following the 2026 NFL draft. So there is one of the guys. Jeremy O'Day, we have that one. Colson. Jeremy O'Day talks about drafting Albert Reese the 4th.
I think so. You're excited. You just kind of think what ifs, and you kind of you hope that it happens, but you just never know. I know that Paul Jones, our assistant GM, has a really good relationship with him. I think he actually, if I'm not mistaken, he brought his dad to Edmonton, but don't quote me on that. But I know that there's a history there, and Paul was there at his pro day, and we thought it was worth the value.
Stab in the dark. There we go. Back out on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, Nick, he's reminding us we have Eric Anderson from last year's draft coming in, and he could see Kyle Hergel coming in September. Yeah, maybe September. I don't mind that hot take, Nikki. Brennan, I think this is kind of directed to anyone that possibly is criticizing. 10 of O'Day's draft picks won the Cup on the Riders last year. He's doing just fine at the draft.
And like 3 or 4 of the guys who signed with other teams and are now the highest played at their position were also his draft picks, right? Like A.J. Allen.
Good point. global draft today. Bear with me on these names. We got two. Okay. First guy, a linebacker. So not two kickers. We got a linebacker, Mapalo Mwansa. Played in the player pathway program after signing with the Carolina Panthers as an undrafted free agent. That's what you were talking about, Colson. Spent the season on the Panthers practice roster, suited up for 3 preseason games. That's not bad. 22 years old, from Peterborough, England. Literally joined the Great Britain national team in 2024 and played for the Nottingham Caesars of the BAFA National League Northern Premiership. Glenn's familiar with that league. That's the highest league of British American football. Mwansa helped the Caesars win the 2024 Division 1 National. It's an interesting pick. You know, like Luke loved Habakkuk Baldonado.
Habakkuk Baldonado.
Right from jump. I remember that camp 2 years ago. He loved him. So Luke's got a good eye for that. See what he thinks in that. And then we did sign a kicker from the University of Hawaii. Comes via, where is it here? Japan. Yeah, this is crazy. Second round, Kansei Matsuzawa. Played for Japan, or played for Hawaii. Some really good stats. First team All-American West selection. It said where he's from in Japan here. Just gonna read. That's first ever draft pick from Japan.
I'm not sure.
Ichikawa, Japan. That's where it's got to be for the Riders.
For the Riders, good chance. I'll check with Rob Vanstone on that one. But
there's a lot of smart listeners out there. Have we ever drafted anyone from Japan in the global draft? I know some of you saying, shouldn't you guys know that? We can't research everything. It's difficult. But so a couple in the global draft. We pick up a mountain of a man in Percy Lewis 4. Then all the draft picks. Interesting day. Oh, and then all that other jazz yesterday that came down with the CFL. Well, they were getting ripped on doing it on draft day. I don't know if I've had 24 hours or whatever to sleep on it and think about it. Like a lot of people, a lot of lazy takes out there are saying, well, only one team doesn't make the playoffs. Why do you even have the regular season? You're all smarter than that. You're all played athletics or been around it. You don't want to finish 8 in this bad boy. Talk about a gauntlet. Oh, who made that?
Curtis whipped that one up.
If you're watching the stream, Curtis did make that. That's actually not a bad looking t-shirt. My team finished 9th in the CFL, and all I get is this lousy t-shirt. Should say t-shirt, but shirt. Good job, Curtis, on that one. Man, there were some comments coming in, though, of people, and kind of poking fun. Drastic stuff. I'm never watching TSN again, canceling my subscription. No, you're not. Don't lie. It's like the I'm never shopping here again skit. Or Flaming Moe's Tavern, Simpsons episode. Canceling season tickets. There's some comments about that. No, you're not. You're not. And a lot. I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised how many people are like, well, just Americanizing. We're just getting closer to being part of the U.S. and the American games coming back up here and all that. And no. Has anyone ever named 3 people that want the CFL in the U.S.? Has anyone ever done that data? Who wants it?
Schmaltz would. Jordan would. He loves the CFL.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the means to drop a team in Scottsdale.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe a hometown in Madison.
I'm saying he would love to have it down there. I was also like Greg yesterday brought up a great point. If you finished first or second now, Does your season tickets cover 2 home playoff games instead of just 1?
Yeah, they got to figure out all that jazz,
Like-
for sure.
So many nuances to this now.
Should the SportsCage get a run of those T-shirts made? Does anyone want to partner with it out there? Is there a business out there? We'll put your logo on it. We'll put a SportsCage logo on it and your business logo. If you're watching the stream, there it is. And let's get these bad boys done up as a joke for the CFL season. Walk around. Think we could let that fly?
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is draft 1. We can change the spelling and stuff.
Yeah. And Curtis will not ask for royalties. He'll just ask you buy him a cold beer. I'll cover that, actually. Good work. Yeah. If your business wants to sponsor these, let's chat. Let's make something work. I might get in trouble for saying this, but I think it's creative. And if our logo's out there on something like that with a business, I think it's perfect.
I agree.
Okay, we got to go to break here. And then hopefully Luke Mullinder is standing by. He's getting ready to go up to Saskatoon. He's got a busy week. Luke there yet? Not there? Before I go to break, I want to give a shout out, and there's parents driving there right now, and I think today there's another, it's the younger kids are going at it. I was at O'Neill High School yesterday for the city elementary school badminton championships. This is like, because the boy played in it and now the girl. This is something to experience. Have you ever seen this? There's hundreds of kids. They got 2 gyms going. They got brackets of different divisions, and they're just sizzling through. And it's double knockout. So if you lose, you're waiting. It's like the All Valley Karate Championship, except that was a single knockout. Daniel LaRusso, shout out. And then you get called up, and then you got to go to your court and play. The first year, I was like, this is really cool. Didn't have to stay that long. Second year, okay, went a little bit deeper. So last night it was my daughter. I'm proud dad. My daughter does not have her own badminton racket or shoes. She borrows everything from the school. She loves it though. Who doesn't? When you're a kid, you love badminton. I think everybody does. Playing against kids that are unreal, that play it for, like, they go to spring tournaments like we go to spring hockey tournaments. She lost in the city final. Silver medal. Unbelievable. Proud dad. But I'm just saying, all the parents that are there and all the parents that are going today, what a ride. What a ride it is to go to the city badminton championships at O'Neill. Good job to all the teachers. Oh, the work they put. I say to my wife, who's in the field, I say, obviously they don't get paid for this to be here till 8 o'clock and run around and all that. She's like, no. She's like, and you get a day off after 80 extracurricular hours.
Oh my word.
80. I thought she was joking. I was like, no. Like there's countries where they make sneakers that have better plans than that.
No one's taking that bet. What is that, 1 to 10 odds? No one's taking that.
80. You want a day off? We need 80 out of you. Oh, good job, teachers. That was it was really cool. Congratulations to everybody as well. Okay, Luke Mullinder's coming up. SportsCage streaming through our YouTube channel. It's for Regina Motor Products. We'll be right back. I like what you're thinking, Jeff, on the Prairie Line Rentals text line. Sell the shirts for CFL fans fight cancer. He wants me to tell people or quit telling people what they do or don't feel or think. I know, I'm married. Don't listen to me about any of that. But the t-shirts, we might be onto something here. Might have to make this work at some point. Curtis, tell us what you think if you're listening to the show. Okay, Western Pizza tonight. Why wouldn't a guy or girl? No need to cook. Let's go out on it. Joined by our football analyst, Grey Cup champion, former Michigan State Spartan, eight handicap and dropping, Luke Mullinder.
I think for golf they would just say handicapped and dropping.
But like so like, as I know, because you're not like a big draft guy, you know, you're kind of like but then you see some alma mater, you see some of that forest green or whatever color green that is, get drafted first overall. Are you like a proud relative?
Oh man, of course, man. Malcolm Bell's a Spartan dog. I'm so happy that we've got a Michigan State Spartan. And again, there's been Spartans that have come through. Greg Jones, a legendary linebacker, was in the Riders organization when I first started out as in the football media side of things. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm excited about Malcolm Bell. I think he's a high IQ player. Obviously, you got to be a smart guy to be playing in Michigan State football, but he's going to be a tough kid. And there's obviously a place for him on the roster, right? We've got some Canadian DBs. You've got a starter in Tavon Campbell, and I think he's a guy that's going to come in here, contribute on special teams right away, and we'll see where it goes. But again, I think the overall message that you got to give to these kids, regardless of whether you were picked in round 1 or round 8, it's not about where you were picked. It's what you do with the opportunity once the door opens. And I'll tell you what, though, man, Malcolm Bell is going to kick down the door once he opens it.
Doesn't worry you that he's going to Cleveland Browns minicamp?
No, because I mean we've seen this a ton, right? And I think this is just one of those deals with that you have to understand when it comes to the Canadian Football League draft, right? Some guys get down there and stay down there. Some guys are going to join you in September. Some guys are going to go through minicamp. I've seen all three of those happen, right? I mean, you look at Keith Sholigan when we drafted him a long time ago. He went to OTAs and then was cut, right? You look at Kyle Hergill, who was drafted a couple years back that I was like, oh man, I'm stoked. I can't wait till this guy gets to camp. And I looked on the New Orleans Saints roster and there was like 10 guards. And I'm like, yes, no way this kid's making the roster, and of course he made it, right? And he's doing well. So it's always going to be a crapshoot. You look at a guy like Dakota Shepley, who you might get here, a couple years later, but you have to take the guys that you think are going to benefit and help your ball club, right? And you can't sort of get stuck on will or won't he be there. I can understand if it was a guy like Akeem Mesidor who got drafted in the first round. You're never seeing him, right? Like the kid from Manitoba a few years back, everybody knew you're not seeing him, right? And even with some of the guys that do last, and when you do get them, they're vets by then, and like a Christian Covington comes to mind, right? But again, I think that Malcolm Bell will actually will be here at some point, and I can't wait, man. And we're going to welcome him with open arms. I was texting back and forth with former defensive back Vincent Donaldson, who's also a Spartan dog, who treats me like family, and that's how we're going to treat Malcolm when he gets here.
Do you think, because someone messaged in a little bit ago, it'd be such a crapshoot at times, but there's got to be some intel and the amount of work that goes in that they find out, some little tidbits on, okay, he might be coming up, or, because it looks like way down where this Albert Reese in the 6th round, probably going to be in the NFL, but you take a flyer there. In the first couple rounds, Luke, maybe what we don't know, there's got to be a lot of work and intel put into it.
I think you do a lot of work, and I think you balance it out, right? We have to remember that when it comes to the Canadian Football League, our draft is a developmental draft. In the NFL, the rounds 1 to 3 are we're picking you and we expect you to play. It's not like that in the Canadian Football League, right? Very rarely do you get. I mean, you can go back to the years, 22 years or whatever it was when I first came into the league, right? There, I mean, you could probably put a cool stat together that showed that not a lot of guys end up contributing right off the bat, regardless of what round they're taking in, right? So then I think that you do have to weigh the balance of which organization is this kid going to, who is in this organization, right? And what does this organization look like in terms of the players that and the position that he plays right now? And then you make your analysis. But again, I don't think, and the Canadian Football League has to be able to deal with this challenge because, quite frankly, the talent level is so much better in Canada right now. There's so many more guys going down to the NCAA. When I first started playing football, you just getting to the NCAA was a big deal,
Yeah.
right? These days it's an expectation and it's nothing, you know what I mean? And that's fantastic. It shows that we've developed as a country, and it shows that our coaching programs are working. It shows that our players are doing the right thing because they're making an impact. And we saw it this year with Mesidor being drafted in the first round. And now you see a myriad of players in the CFL draft that are from NCAA schools, right? And the guys that are coming from the U Sport schools too, they're a lot better. So we're in a really good spot, and you just have to adapt. And I think that that's probably the theme too with what we'll talk about when it comes to the playoff changes in 27.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in a bit. Anything more on the draft that you wanted, or any of the guys that we take? Anything else jump out at you?
No, I think that I was really glad to see that we went heavy on the offensive linemen. I mean, you look at the, I think that, again, when you have a coach like Coach Edwin Harrison, who has now proved over the course of 2 years that he is fantastic at getting guys prepared, I think you can invest a little bit more in some of your O-line depth. And quite frankly, I think that we've got some existing depth on the roster that does need a little bit of a push. You got another wide receiver. Jeremy O'Day has been fantastic at drafting Canadian wide receivers, right? So that's something cool. But again, I'm pumped to have Malcolm Bell, Michigan State Spartan, coming into the organization, man. It's a good day.
How about this? And I think Colson's question was, have you ever played with somebody this big? But the Riders signed an offensive lineman today, Percy Lewis.
No, the answer is no. No, that's the answer. No. That is, dude, 6'8", 380 pounds with a 9-foot wingspan. Come on. What are they feeding the kids down there in Mississippi? That's not regular grits and cornbread. That is, that's not the sausage and gravy diet that I'm used to at Michigan. Like, there's no way. We've seen big offensive linemen here in Riderville over the last decade. We've seen guys, but again, you've just got another, what are those towers out there? The Hill Towers? Yeah, you just got another Hill Tower walking around in a green jersey. Like, imagine Gordy Gilroy's job of outfitting this guy. You don't come across a lot of size 7XL football jerseys. Like, this is a massive dude now.
You got to take it to Chow's, Jean and Top, and get the extenders put in the jerseys like we do for the spring hockey when we don't want to buy. But this is a serious question. Like, how is he getting here? I hope they're not trying to stuff him on one of those WestJet Encore flights.
Oh, could you imagine? Just especially coming from Mississippi? Like, yeah, your connecting flight's a little Haviland Dash 800 or whatever. Yeah.
Bombardier.
And by the way, this is not a shot at people from Saskatchewan, but there's not a lot of room on those small planes now. Like, when I get on those planes, I'm not the only big guy on those planes now. Okay, so now this guy comes in. Let's say this again: 6'8", 380 freaking pounds. With a 9-foot wingspan. It's a Tyrannosaurus walking around out there is what it is. But a Tyrannosaurus with like long arms, like long deadly arms. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy to me. Let's see. I've played when I was in college. I mean, Robert Gallery was a massive dude. We played Richie Incognito, but he was just kind of wide and just burly and tough. I can't remember a time where I just lined up against a skyscraper and just ran at him. And even when competing in the CFL, I don't remember too many guys that are 6'8". Like, no way. Josh Borky was about 6'6", I think, but he didn't have, this guy's got massive arms. I'm blown away. I don't know.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor at camp? Send me a picture of you and him side by side.
Oh man.
And we'll put it on the SportsCage listeners.
You ever seen the picture of like Wemby standing next to like David Robinson or Yao Ming standing next to Shaq, and it makes guys that you think are massive already look small? I'm not standing beside that guy, man. No way, man. No way.
I'm not that big of a guy, but we took a picture last week. I think we posted it of me and Tommy Stevens, and I'm 5'10". right? Tommy Stevens made me look like Kevin Hart.
Whoa. Barney, 5'10"?
5'10". So it says in the program, Jim.
You sure? I'll give you 5'8" if you want to, do that again.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, I said this 2 years ago when I started this, and you were really big on Baldonado with the global draft and him coming in here and all that. So you had a good eye because you were on him right from the get-go. Today the Riders grab a linebacker from England, Mapalo Mwansa. Again, a guy that's coming into camp, but a linebacker, right? And we did get a kicker in that as well. This global draft, Luke, and a guy that had the eye on Baldonado early. What are you going to be watching this guy, because he does have some experience on a practice roster with the Carolina Panthers last year?
Yeah, and you're starting to see it more, right? The NFL has sort of their foreign player development program, where you saw that the Philadelphia Eagles drafted that massive Nigerian kid, who doesn't have a lot of football experience. I think that when you're so data driven as a business, right, and you're so sort of focused in on getting validated using the numbers and measurements that people have. That's why you're starting to see a lot of teams take chances on guys like this. I think it's a good pickup. At the end of the day, for Jeremy O'Day, he still needs to fill his camp guys, right? You still need a certain amount of bodies in camp. You still need to have a competitive camp. So why not look into a guy who doesn't have a lot of film, but obviously spend some time honing his craft. And if he comes up and works out, it's great. But if he doesn't, right, you've got a number of other guys, and hopefully somebody's stepped up in the linebacking core while you've made the evaluation on this new kid, right?
Yeah,
I think I do think though that the global draft is in trouble. I think that I think the CFL with the changes they're making, I would foresee them walking away from the global draft. I think that the other piece around this too is you now understand like how to look at players that are in Europe or in Australia. I don't think you need any more like a forced look. I think it's been long enough now where teams are comfortable. For instance, the Riders are a good example. I mean, I text Jo mad face every single time he signs a kicker that's from Australia, not from New Zealand. But that's very clearly something that Jo has now seen and said, we've gotten a certain amount of production or a certain amount of value out of guys from this area at this position. I think that now teams have kind of defined how they look at the European players, and I don't think you need a forced global draft anymore, and the resources that go into something like that dedicated to drafting globally when you can just pick guys up in general.
Our football analyst, Luke Mullinder, is joining us here on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Okay, let's get into the news. Yesterday, first off, were you very surprised, as a lot of people, that they announced these changes for 2027 on the CFL draft day? Or do you think there was a strategy there?
Well, I mean, when all eyes are kind of focused in on the CFL, I get it, right? You want to have a conversation. I just know how big of a deal it is for kids and their families to get taken in a professional league. And if you're the first round pick or you're the last pick, having those moments to share with your family and, sharing those stories and those emotions that go into being selected and getting an opportunity to play pro football, always felt like that should be the emphasis and the focus when it comes to the Canadian Football League. It is a rule though, and we don't know. It might have gotten a hold, like someone might have got a hold of it and was about to leak it anyways, right? So they tried to get out front of it. I just think that for me, it's weird. I actually see it from a number of angles, and all of those angles compete. So actually, I don't know how to feel about this, right? So from like when you look at a person and who's been a fan of the league changes, because I see that they're trying to create new business. They're trying to create new revenue streams. So as someone who analyzes the league from that perspective, I think it's great. I really do. I think this is going to open up new revenue opportunities. I think that if you're a player, You just, or a coach specifically, if you're a coach, you just say, well, you know what, this is just something new. We're going to adapt, because a lot of these coaches will tell you, hey, we don't care what it is. We'll play in the parking lot as long as we can compete, right? So I don't think it affects sort of the guys that are between the white lines. I understand the viewpoint from an old school fan, a traditionalist fan, who was probably going to say, we didn't need this, right? It Americanizes the sport a little bit more. Again, I understand all of those narratives and thoughts. I've from the time that we've talked about specific changes, like the changes to the length of the field and things like that, I'm actually a fan of it, just because at least I see the Canadian Football League that I love trying to continue to grow, trying to develop, right? Trying to create new streams of revenue. And I get that. I think it's going to be an adjustment. But the other side of that is from a former player's standpoint, the one thing I am concerned about, and this is for all of the fans and yourself, Barney. As a player, week 18 always meant something. There was always an opportunity, no matter how bad or how good we were, where week 18 meant something. So did week 17. I've been parts of teams that week 17 and 18 in your schedule are incredible. They come down to like some, the wire, right? And I feel like that is at risk here, right? You are risking more teams just resting players in the later stages of the year because of the fact that they're developed. And I don't know. I don't like the fact that 89% of this league now gets into the playoffs.
I know your dog doesn't like it either. And it's like, okay, well, there's nothing to play for. And I was reading some comments today, and now they've had 24 hours, and I'm like, you don't want to be that 8th team, that 7th team, whatever. Like that's an absolute grind. Like you're going into the mosh pit hard on that. Yeah, totally. But again, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that, I've just said 89% of the league going into the playoffs is crazy when you think about it like that, right? But I can't fault the league for trying to do things and push this game forward. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it, but again, it goes back to that thing. Like, do you just want to sit here and be stagnant and just and have this thing just fall apart organically? The answer is no, man. I love this league and I want to see this league do well. And if this is going to bring new revenue and new opportunities into the league, more importantly, too, in my mind as a former player, it's also more paychecks for players, right, Barney? So more absolute strain on the body though, too, especially if you got to start flying back and forth around on the country. Oof.
Yeah, hold on a second though, Barney. Hold on. You're talking to a guy now that played every single training camp practice in full pads, right? You're talking to a guy that flew publicly with all of society stuffed into planes. From the Fort
Garry for the bus.
Stole pillows from the Fairmont. Yeah. So pardon me if I'm not like, oh, poor guys have to travel an extra on their private plane with all of their snacks and cookies and food. Like, come on, man. These kids don't have to put pads on at the end of after training camp anyways, right? Like, at some point, guys, we're gonna have to show some toughness and resiliency. And I think that the fact that there's a paycheck attached to it is beneficial for the players. I think they can get over their little bumps and bruises.
Okay, we got a minute and a half left. I want to get what about moving of the schedule up? Obviously, camp could be interesting in places like Saskatchewan. What's your thoughts there?
Well, hey, no better way to get acclimated to late October than to do it early in April, right? Like, I came into this league when it was really cold. I remember our first training camp was freezing. It felt like fall, winter in the Midwest, right? So it is what it is. It's football, right? And I think that we're forgetting that this is a one percenter's dream, right? And yeah, it might not be ideal, and it's definitely going to make it different in terms of evaluating the talent that these GMs have collected. But at the end of the day, they'll find a way.
Are you you're on the road tonight? You're not going to City Hall to voice your opinion on the Brandt takeover of Real campus?
I don't need to voice my opinion. Everybody should be thanking Brandt. Send him an email right now. Thank you, Brandt. We appreciate you. Yeah. If there's, Hey, listen. I feel strongly about this now. This might extend the show by another hour now if we start talking about this. Right? It's making it easier on the taxpayers, and I think that if there's anybody that can turn around some of the things that real and just sort of the problems they have, not just the financial piece, it's Brandt, and I think it's going to be great for the city.
All right, and in closing, maybe it'll be Brandt that'll sponsor our T-shirt that we want to get made. Did you see the T-shirt we want to get made?
My team finished 9th in the CFL is all I get. Oh, man. Well, I was just thinking when I saw that video, I'm like, oh, man, poor Ottawa. Like, dude, they expanded the playoff system and they're still not going to make it. This is the worst. Man, that sucks to be Ottawa. Yeah. Just remember, man, I don't know how to feel about it, right? But at the end of the day, 89% of the CFL teams now make the playoffs, and that's right.
Travel safe up to Saskatoon. Appreciate you doing this before you leave, and make sure you get that picture beside Percy Lewis.
Oh, I'm going to, man. Yeah, well, you're not going to be able. It's not like I can miss him. I can take a selfie right now. I can take a selfie out on my balcony right now, and somehow he'd be in it. That's how big he is.
And ask him how the flight was. Ask him how the flight was. I'm curious on that.
Percy's the only guy that Chuck Norris was afraid of. Like, that is that's serious. Like, you're not messing around with that.
All right, buddy. Talk to you next week.
All right, man. Peace.
There he is, our football analyst. He's on our broadcast team. Grey Cup champion, Luke Mullinder. We got to go to break. We're up against the clock. It's the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Global draft today for the Riders. They take Mapalo Mawasa, linebacker from England. He's got some experience on the practice squad for the Carolina Panthers last year, and also a kicker, Kansei Matuzawa, from the University of Hawaii. They also signed an offensive lineman today, if you missed this. His name is Percy Lewis IV. He stands 6'8", 380. Hockey tonight, Prince Albert Raiders trying to get back and even that series with the Medicine Hat Tigers after the Tigers pull it out in overtime last night. National Hockey League, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, with Philly trying to wrap it up again. Montreal, Tampa Bay at 5 p.m. Utah, Vegas at 8. It's a sports ticker in hour one for Reliance Heath. Switch to Reliance Heath today, get $400 cash back. Some conditions apply. Reliance Heath. Hour two's coming up. Jordan Schmaltz. Jay Swish is going to be our NHL insider. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Wednesday for RMP Early Tire Swap. On now we got to start thinking about it. Are we getting another dump of snow here? Usually May long, maybe around there. $10 you can save on an on-rim, $20 on an off-rim. You're getting your tires swapped over. Regina Motor Products, the place to go. Prairie Land Rentals text line is buzzing still with people on the CFL changes front and what's going on there. I'm wondering about Edmonton Oilers fans after last night. We're going to talk to Jay Swish here. He's going to be our NHL insider today in a bit. I missed most of the game because I was at the City Elementary School Badminton Championships, which was awesome. Good job again to all the teachers that are putting that out at O'Neill. I watched the third period. Anaheim down 4-1. But I thought they had a lot of chances. Connor Ingram did play pretty good in goal. Again, I didn't see the full game. He obviously is going to start tomorrow in Anaheim. Connor McDavid was a game time decision. Is that for real? Or were they just some gamesmanship there?
I saw post game. He said he was good to go the whole time. So
all I know is the way that Connor McDavid is playing when I watch him, there is no way he's getting through another 7 games. If they get through this round. 4, maybe. Something don't look right with 97. But they're getting scoring and they're getting contributions from everyone there. Sprinkle of the day for Sports Select. SportsSelect.com. Make your picks online now. Generate a QR code and scan like I did this afternoon. We got 3 on the NHL docket tonight. I know there's NBA going on too, Colson. If you want to chime in on the NBA front, Toronto, Cleveland. Cleveland's a 9.5-point favorite.
That sounds about right.
Really?
What's more impressive is looking at the circumstances of it right now. So the Detroit Pistons are the number 1 seed, right? Orlando's up on them 3-0 in the series right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Detroit's about to just get swept by the 8th seed.
I was listening to some guys today that were talking OKC or the field at this point. Because OKC is... If you go to we can go to futures. We have the internet here. And we paid for it till 6 o'clock, so let's use it. NBA championship winner. OKC's 175. San Antonio Spurs are 5. Then the Celtics 550. And then really it's nobody. So that's pretty for a championship. Like that's pretty. You can bet on futures on sportselect.com, by the way, people. Stanley Cup winner, let's go to that. It's got to be Colorado. Yep. Colorado 315, then Carolina 37. There's some good value still. If you want to hit a future at sportselect.com. Tampa Bay is next at 750. I do not agree with that. Watching Tampa Bay play, I like Minnesota. I do like Minnesota. I took them a while ago as a real dark horse. They're 1250. Oilers, Ducks way down 25-26. Dallas is 26. Love the futures. Okay, but as for tonight, though, if you're jamming home right now, you're thinking, probably going to pick up some Western pizza, pie, or lasagna or something. I should pull it up on my phone, generate this QR code talks about, and then go and play it. The first game, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Montreal is the dog on the road, paying $270 on Pro Line. The point spreads -1.5, and then 5.5 point over under. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ties 355 if it goes into overtime. Let's shelf that one for a second. Pittsburgh and at the Flyers. Are they under pressure now?
What's Gritty going to do tonight? That's what I'm wondering.
The guy's a party. He's a unit. 5.5's the over under there. I like the going to overtime 350 tie there. And then Utah, Vegas Golden Knights back behind MGM Park. Ties 365. If you think this could go to OT, drill that all the way, and then 5.5 is the over-under. Again, all the picks, sportselect.com, generate a QR code, scan away, and go to your Lotto Spot retailer, and they will scan your phone, or if you print it off on a piece of paper, there you go. You got your picks. What? Vegas and Utah. I'm very curious to watch that game tonight. I didn't watch enough of the last Montreal-Tampa Bay game, so that one's curious as well. But NHL playoffs, gotta love it. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering, wait, what did the Riders do in the global draft? Which, interesting, Luke Mullinder thinks. What do you think? Luke Mullinder thinks that could be a thing of the past soon.
Luke is more knowledgeable about this than I'm ever going to be, but I would agree with him. I think it's this thing where it was a novelty, sort of to get global players and global attention on the CFL, and to get the GMs to pay attention to these global markets. But now it's kind of served its purpose, because they started with just 1 round, and then they bumped it up to 2, and I think 2 is too much. Yeah, you're going to get the Habakkuk Baldonados. You're going to get a Aussie or Kiwi kicker. But outside of that, you're looking for kind of a 1 in a million, which is probably already going to go to the NFL.
Riders took a kicker from Ichikawa, Japan today, who played for Hawaii. Kansei Matuzawa. He's got really good stats at Hawaii, too. And then they also grabbed a fella by the name of Mapalo Mwansa. linebacker from the linebacker hotbed of Peterborough, England. But this guy, he was on the practice roster for the Carolina Panthers last year.
Yeah, so somebody's seen something in him.
And he was up against good competition, even on the practice roster of Carolina.
It was the Carolina Panthers. They did have a rough start to the season, but
6'2", 230.
Yeah, not 6'8", but
nothing like the offensive lineman we signed today. Percy Lewis the fourth. How big's Percy Lewis the third, second, and the OG? Percy Lewis.
All good questions, and I like Luke's comment. He's the fourth hill tower. Percy Lewis the fourth is the fourth hill tower.
6'8", 380, coming to camp in Saskatoon.
That's ridiculous.
How he's getting there, I'm very, very curious. Very, very curious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Stampeders will have their official uniform reveal tonight. Also known as the reveal that was dropped 2 weeks ago, last week?
Something like that. Yeah, the CFL posted a video hyping up the season, and they had the new jerseys in it by accident, and I was like, oh.
That was kind of sloppy.
Here's the thing. So you know how like we have our newsletters from like the riders and stuff as media people, right? We get the updates, things like that. I've got notifications turned on X for the CFL account, and the number of times where I see, oh, they posted this, and then I go, wait a minute, I've got 4 notifications for this because they posted. Wait, that's a spelling error. Delete. Repost. Wait, that's a wrong color. Delete. Repost. Oh, that's the East Division. I meant West Division, right? It happens. I get a chuckle out of it every time I see it, but it's the business of social media.
If you missed the comments earlier on the draft yesterday and what the Riders did, Luke Mullinder super excited that we took Malcolm Bell. He's a Michigan State dog, or what did he call him? What did they call each other?
He called him dog, a Michigan State
Another
dog.
Michigan State dog, first round, 9th overall. Here's Jeremy O'Day on Mr. Bell.
Malcolm Bell, he's a long corner, played at a high level at Michigan State. Very good coverage corner. Obviously, when you look at our roster, how we're constructed, we're starting with two DBs, going into camp, and just liked a lot about him from his tape and going through the interview process. And so, just a good player that played at a high level, and like I said, he's got length and speed.
I think a lot of us, maybe I did, thought that we were going offensive lineman or defensive lineman. O'Day was asked if there any after draft or any shocks in this draft.
Yeah, there's always some picks that you're surprised about that other teams pick, and whether they were surprised with some of ours, it could be the same case. So I think everyone's draft board's different, and they evaluated the players that they do. And so for us, we spend a lot of time on it, set our board up. But I would say that all of our boards probably look different.
We need a behind the scenes and then release it after. But I feel they would be very diplomatic and polite. I'd like to know other teams chirping other teams. They took who? They did what? Obviously, it's not good for the players, and it wouldn't go over.
I think. Because what does the NFL do? That Hard Knocks thing?
Yes.
And they do it in the offseason too. And I think there's a clip of the Vikings war room when whoever was before them passed on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
and they were going, really? Let's go, and all that and whatever. So it happens.
If we play the number 6 here, O'Day, he talks about after the draft, how do you get on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different opinion, like I said, and so you try to talk it through. There is a lot of discussion, and you don't really know when those are going to happen. Some of them are kind of picks that everyone just says that's the pick, and everyone's good with it. And then there's more that are discussions, right? So, there's guys that we didn't think would be there. There's guys that we would hope to have been there and they get picked right after we make a pick, right? So those are the ones you're like, we were on the right path with that guy, but unfortunately you can't pick them all. There's a lot of good players in there, and I'm sure every team's happy with the guys they picked.
And then with everything and how it's going to shake down, this is this, and I didn't really grasp this on how the CFL draft moving before the NFL draft. I do not like that. I think that makes things so difficult. You're going to have so many burnt picks.
That's how it used to be. They pumped it back. What was it? I want to say like 8-10 years ago.
Do we know why they're doing? I missed this. What's the benefit
to doing it beforehand?
Yeah,
it's just because the season's moved up. You have to, right?
Yeah. I guess there is no way. There's no workaround there.
You can't draft players in week 3.
Draft them and then say you're coming tomorrow. We need you here tomorrow. We got a big airport. We got lots of flights. But yeah, he does talk about if he has any concerns with the draft moving up.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time to digest the changes. Not really something that we really wanted to focus a lot on draft day. We're trying to keep working on the draft and, kind of living in the moment with that. But, definitely it's going to make it a lot more challenging. We're not going to know, where the NFL players are going to go. I think, some of the youth sport players are probably going to be still taking exams at the time. And so it'll be a challenge, but, ultimately the change is made and we'll adjust to it. And, I always say that, every team's going to be in the same situation and they're going to have to do the same thing. So it's going to make it a little tougher on all of us. You're trying to project where the NFL guys will go before they go, which could be a challenge.
Yeah, nothing you can do there. Everyone's in the same boat. Really have to do your due diligence now. There's that'll be interesting to watch. Let's get into Clutch Performer, Colson.
The SportsCage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
You going first? I'm going first?
You go first. You take it. I've been talking too much. Take the floor.
I just have to get over to my clips here. So you know how lots of sports teams do like free promotions or whatever, like the Pats are doing Wiener Wednesday, stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just pulling up all my info in here. So the Cincinnati Reds were doing a promotion where fans win free pizza if the team gets 11 strikeouts in a game, right? So showing you here.
Just missed. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
So calls it a ball. Catcher challenges it.
1-1 tonight. Can he win pizza
with the new ABS challenge?
The crowd ready
and
to
the fans
burst.
get free pizza off a challenge.
Oh yeah!
I'm loving how into the challenges the fans are getting, right? Because it's a small thing, but especially if it's like changing a ball to a strike 3 or something, it's having a big impact. And so there's been a few games where I think, what was it, in like the 7th or 8th inning where their team started to come back because, okay, challenge, no, flip that around, challenge, flip that around. And so the crowd was kind of like, first off, and then they start getting more and more into it. I'm like, this challenge thing is working out for them.
Do you have another one?
That's all I had. I mean,
that's actually, you find some good ones. I gotta give you that. Okay, so tonight in Medicine Hat, where last night in overtime was the Medicine Hat Tigers in front of 5,204 fans.
And
there was more in there. There's some angles of this goal and the atmosphere. You just, anyone that was in the Brandt Center in 2017 and that run against, and where they ended up playing Seattle in the final, brings back memories. Here was the overtime winner last night.
Comes free to Basha. Basha in the high slot, turns, shoots. It's loose. They score! Liam Ruck wins it in overtime for the Tigers. Down
shot. That's saved by Orsolak. Rebound just squeaks through him, and enough daylight on that far side post to tuck it home. Liam Ruck has a game winner here in Game 3.
If you're not watching the stream, it's kind of a shot from the point. Orsolak can't handle
in
it.
the overtime win. The Tigers take a 2-1 series lead.
And
heading into Game 4 tomorrow.
Got players of the game. Schweitzer had 37 saves for Med Hat. Orsolak only had 19 saves. But yeah, so they go again tonight in Medicine Hat, and that's what it's all about. That's the one thing about this Brandt takeover and the Brandt Center, because the Pats are going to be clutch performer for Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. If you're thinking Solar,
before we go off the rails,
the local company, family run company. What other kind of solar you're thinking they can come out and give you a quote and help out? But in 2 years, next year, but in 2 years, the Pats should be really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Again, that rink, if anyone's going, I'm curious, is anyone going to City Council tonight? I know we have listeners all over the province, but if you're in Regina, are you going tonight? Do you have any comments on how the Brandt wanting to take Brandt company to take over the Brandt Center and the other buildings and what they're doing? These drawings, like I said yesterday, come on, it's not going to look like this, but A for effort. And
we can't call it the orange top anymore. What do we call it now?
It's a nice black gray combo. Yeah. I like this view. I'm curious if we're not going to park like these are people that left their cars overnight after a long night at the concert or somewhere.
Had to get a ride home
because there's no way you're parking way over there. But this angle parking and how it goes is the first thing my wife pointed out when we were going through it. Still a lot of room around there. A lot of people are saying, well, where is it, the baseball stadium? Are we going to do a baseball stadium in there? But yeah, I'm curious. Can you watch? Can a guy watch City Council tonight on just like a internet feed? I don't have any cable or anything like that.
I think they do stream their meetings or something. I will see what I can look up in 30 seconds here.
Ooh, Habs Gallagher is in for Kapanen tonight. Thanks, James. He hasn't played in this series. He'll be in the crease every chance he gets. James. Interesting there for the Montreal Canadian fans tonight. Puck drop in a moment.
Interesting. Sponsor of the program, Access Communications, it handles the Regina City Council streams.
Say that again, sorry?
So if you go to myaccess.ca, that's where the streams for Regina City Council are. They do have an archive of everything that's happened, but looking at it here, they have the Audit and Finance Committee meeting from April 23rd. And then they have the executive committee from this morning.
Okay.
Then
how many what's the vote tonight? How many people vote? I know that's a tough question.
I didn't do show prep on this.
Is it every councillor plus does the mayor get a vote? Does the mayor probably gets a swing vote?
Yeah. I think
936-6262 Prairie Line Rentals text line. Anybody up to date on their civic politics?
I do think the mayor gets the swing vote generally, but I also think that he just votes on everything automatically because I think it's the 10 wards plus the mayor, right?
Okay, so 10.
So it's the 10 councillors plus the mayor, so that's 11. But isn't it executive committee tonight, which is like the mayor and 3 or 4 council members, I think?
I have no idea. I haven't covered last city council back when I was working in broadcasting for real. I went to city council meeting in Lloydminster. We had a rock station. I forget why I had to go and get clips about something. Like a backwards hat and like take that off. But if it's...
So it was executive council discussing it this morning. And then May 6th is in front of the whole council. So executive council is just the mayor and 3 or 4 councillors, and they can streamline some things.
Okay, so what's going on tonight then?
I don't know. I think it was this morning. I think it was 9 a.m., not 9 p.m. Or I'm looking at the wrong thing somewhere here.
Because it's got to... I'm saying whatever the vote is, however many there is, I got to say over 90% voting in favor.
Oh, yeah.
Is that safe to say?
I would agree, and I think anyone that's like not voting in favor is probably abstaining and not voting against.
Yeah, because you don't want to look like an absolute pigeon.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm not going to vote against because this is a good thing, but my constituents wouldn't like if I voted for it or whatever, right?
Well, your constituents... Yeah. Okay, we're fixing the Brandt Center constituents. Here's how much you're going up.
Throwing it out there. I didn't run for council. I didn't run for mayor.
I wonder the second thoughts old Mr. Baczynski's had in that. And we have like infrastructure that needs to be done. This couldn't have come at a better time. Do we hold it to Brandt, though, that it has to look exactly like these pictures? Can we put a stipulation in it?
I think if you had to pick a part that had to be the exact same, what would you pick? I'd probably pick the restaurant.
The question was what?
If you had to pick a part where you're like, this has to be exactly like the renders.
Okay, that's a fun game.
Because I would probably go with something in the distillery over the Brandt Center.
Like they don't really show us, besides the new LED light in the Brandt Center.
Yeah.
They don't really show us anything like this. That entrance is a little over the top. That may be a little aggressive. How many we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
15?
15-ish chandeliers.
Yeah.
Crystal style. Charlie Pride, shout out. Rest in peace.
And like 20, almost 30 stars in like a Hollywood Walk of Fame style. Well, whose names are going there?
Brandt employees.
Probably.
I want that coat check. That coat check better look like that. That's a lot of millwork. That you need the best millwork around. Schneider's Millwork, who does a lot of commercial millworking, they are going to have to be on this job. This can't be shoddy work. So this is kind of like the sports bar-ish area, right?
Yeah. I appreciate the Pats mannequin.
Yeah. And the darts. Jeez, this is so wild. Even to be honest, I don't want to say half, but I'll say even if it looks 60% like this, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in anyway. I don't want the burden to fix it. This is the room that's not going to look like this.
Yeah, the restaurant's not going to look like this.
It's not the Bellagio high roller room. The rest, I think this is the live music venue. People have to be excited for this and what acts are going to come into the city. But yeah. So we got to find out, is it tonight? I thought it was tonight.
The executive meeting was this morning. I am reading it was this morning. So that was that was the speeding things up, like getting through some of the nuts and bolts of it. And then the council is where they will actually make the decision on it.
We're efforting to get our NHL insider, Jay Swish, Jordan Schmaltz, on the show. We're having some technical difficulties, so we're going to keep working on that. 936-6262. What do you got to say out there? Maybe it's about the CFL and the changes coming there. It's about the CFL draft, what the Riders did in the draft, anything NHL. Let us know on the Prairieland Rentals text line. It is for Regina Motor Products on this Wednesday. It's the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. All right, for Regina Motor Products on this Wednesday. Again, yeah, trying to get Jay Swish on. We got some problems, so we're trying to navigate, maybe get a special NHL insider guest. Yeah, golf courses opening up. A couple of text messages in here. I think I know Flowing Springs driving range, no mats, love that. Opens today. The city courses are opening Friday in Regina. Estevan opened early. I got to think everything in the south. Swift Current in and around there got to be open. Definitely, I saw a picture. I talked to Wellesley up at Cook Municipal Golf Course in Prince Albert. I said, hey, just shoot me a picture on what it looks like there. And it's not happening. I would say a week. Waskesiu is going to be really tough. Maybe for May long weekend, but yeah, golf course opening up. Shout out everyone out there swinging the wrenches. Okay, luckily this guy just landed, I think, in Southern California. Our NHL insider today is Cam Moon, voice of the Edmonton. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Hey, no problem. I'm happy to be on, to tell you the truth.
Where are you right now? Like where physically are you?
Anaheim, California.
Just hanging out in the hotel, or
I just got in. Yeah, like I'm in the process of getting myself into the hotel. Let's say that.
Oh, you're a beauty, yeah. And I'm sure. And the weather is like never changes there. I'm sure it's lovely.
Oh yeah, it's terrible, of course. Yeah.
Hey, last night, Connor Ingram, right? Your former goaltender. We like to talk goaltending here. I was surprised, Cam. Were you surprised it didn't go back with Jari?
No, not at all.
Oh.
In fact, I was 100% thinking it was going to be Connor Ingram. And I thought Tristan Jarry played well in Game 4, and he gave him a chance to win. But Connor Ingram has been the Oilers' guy for like the last month of the season. And I just felt that with the season on the line, you're probably going to go back to the guy who's been your guy. I mean, no disrespect to Tristan Jarry. And again, he played well in that game, but, Ingram's been your guy. And, I mean, he had a solid game, I thought, last night. Had to, because there were times where the Ducks were really pushing, and he didn't let them back into the game because, God knows, they crawl back into games. They've done such a good job of that all season and in this playoff series. So, no, I figured it'd be Connor Ingram. And he came up with a great performance. I was
dialed in on the third period. I was watching passing first two periods because daughter made the city finals in badminton. Not a big deal.
Oh,
Shout out. So third period. And I'm like, Anaheim is pushing here. They, from jump, they get one goal. And then even there was I think it was 12 minutes left. They got a chance. And I'm like, they get one here. And then maybe it's a penalty, maybe whatever. This thing ain't over. And Ingram, he wasn't flashy, just did what he needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how he plays. There's economy of movement in his game. And he makes a lot of it look pretty easy, even though it's not easy. But he makes it look easy because his positioning is quite good. And I thought that was the case last night. But you're right. Even when it was sitting at 4-1 in the third period, I'm like, just the way that series has gone, that if it gets to 4-2, it could easily get to 4-3, and then you're a sprint right to the finish, which I kind of half expected, I guess, PTSD from the first 4 games, I suppose.
Well, and the Oilers have done that to teams over the last few years as well. It's like, the Oilers are down 4-1. Hold up. As they claw their way back in. What do you, from Imperial, Saskatchewan, I had a chance to have him on the podcast years ago when he was actually driving during COVID to Nashville. Very interesting guy, Connor Ingram. What's your take on him, Mooner?
He is a very interesting guy. He's well read in a lot of things. It's not just hockey. His base of knowledge is is pretty vast, which is, I think impressive. I can see that. I mean, hockey is a big part of his life. Obviously, that's his livelihood. That's his job. But you can tell and see that there are a lot of interests outside of the game.
Yeah.
And he's very knowledgeable at that. Him and I had a discussion not very long ago about the fishing at Tobin Lake. So yeah, we're discussing about hauling walleyes out of Tobin, which is. That should be on everybody's list on something to do because it's incredibly fun. But we were discussing that very recently.
You'll like this one. I'm at that badminton. I shout out badminton again yesterday. Come around the corner. Who do I see standing there? Dave Strush. Davey Strush is in good shape.
Well, he's always been in good shape. I mean, that guy's chiseled. Like, there's a lot of time in the gym spent with that guy. Blades legend, of course. Longtime WHL coach and all-around great guy.
Yeah.
That's good that you ran into him. I like that.
He's training my son this summer, so I'm like, we're going to start talking about Waskasiu, and the wife was there. Yeah, it was great. Okay, so the Connor McDavid thing yesterday, was that gamesmanship that he was a game-time decision?
Well...
Are you allowed to say?
Gamesmanship that he didn't take the morning skate. I think that was just smart, given... I don't think he's 100%. I think everybody knows that. And I guess you don't know it unless you know it, but that's what it seems like. So he didn't take the morning skate. I think that was just smart. The fact that you say he's a game-time decision is maybe a little bit, sure, because I know Connor said after there was no chance he wasn't playing. And knowing how he's wired and how competitive he is, I figured it would take quite a bit to keep him out. So I fully expected him to play the whole time. And he had, I thought, a very good game, which is, you're going to have, it's cliche, but it's true. I mean, your best players got to be your best players. And the Oilers' best players were pretty good last night. Now they're going to try and do it again tomorrow.
Is there something that we're not seeing as the casual fan or we're watching on TV with this team in this run? Maybe someone that's doing something that you really like that, again, we're not maybe catching, that you get to watch it so close?
Well, I'm sure you're catching it, but I'm going to mention it anyway, is Vasily Podkolzin has just continued since he's come to the Edmonton Oilers, and over the last couple of seasons, you just see his game growing. He's tough as nails. He'll fight. He's a pretty good fighter when he does it. He plays in straight lines. He doesn't cheat offensively at all. And he, like, when he hits you really hard. Like, you got to know where he is out on the ice. He's been so good all season long. But here in this round, he may be their best player to this point. It's just been outstanding, and he's a great interview because it's like his interview's like he plays. It's straight ahead. There's no deviation, and it's right to the point. Like it's a really good interview every time, and this way he plays a game too, like in straight lines. So he's been a tremendous addition. And, I think he's played really well.
Where did he pick up the fighting, do you think?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It scares the hell out of me. Like, I've seen him, administer some damage. Like, he's a shade, he's shades of the old school player. Like, he could have played in the late 80s for sure. He's a pretty tough customer.
Cam Moon's joining us here. Voice of the Edmonton Oilers on the radio side, just landed in California, helping us out here. Do you watch the other series as you go here, or are you just kind of concentrating on this? Like, will you watch the stuff tonight?
Yeah, I'll watch some. The Montreal and Tampa series is compelling to me because the game's been so good and so close. So I've watched some of that. I wasn't watching a lot of Pittsburgh and Philly until now because now it's become compelling, and I'm interested in that. I've been watching Buffalo a bit because I think they're everybody's second favorite team, and they should be because it's been forever, and that place is going, cuckoo bongo that they're in the playoffs, which is awesome because I like going to Buffalo. Buffalo has it's such a Canadian feel to it. I like going there. I like the vibe. I like everything about it. I don't know. It's just it feels like hockey. You know what I mean? When you go there, it feels like hockey. So I want them to have some success.
Yeah. And in closing, I can't remember back, Sask Place back in the day. The goal judges were like a god. It's like, oh, wait, everybody part the seas. The goal judge is coming. Do they even have goal judges anymore?
Not behind the net, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, not like the old school. They're basically the goal judge, the video replay guy upstairs.
Because I was wondering, I'm like, if there's a guy still sitting there, talk about how useless he would have been the other night. A, he probably wouldn't have caught what happened, and then with all the other angles and all that. But that happens. That happens, Mooner, back in the mid 90s, early 90s, 80s, or whatever. That poor goal judge is getting lambasted regardless.
I remember us getting screwed over by a goal judge at the Communiplex in PA. I'll tell you right now, I don't think that puck ever went in the net. And then there was a great big hoop-de-doo. At that point, Bob Hoffmeyer was then coaching as Terry Viskowski got ousted at the All-Star break. And Bob was so pissed, he shimmied the glass to go talk to the guy because the guy came around, the goal judge came around to talk to the referee over the short glass on the side. And then Hoffmeyer went down the glass. Then he went out on the ice and he got kicked out of the game and all hell broke loose and it was sold out. It was complete pandemonium. And I'm pretty sure that never went in. I never saw it in. It was underneath me somewhere. And none of me was in the net. So, yeah. There you go. Old school stories from what is now the Art Hauser, which is a wonderful building. Yeah, when it's full and the blades are in there, I tell you, you can just shoot that straight into my veins. That is good stuff.
Well, they got Medicine Hat coming up. It'll be Game 5 in a couple of days. Yeah, just jammed. Absolutely jammed. That's how it should be, though.
And I will put that concession at the Art Hauser, pound for pound. I'll put it up against anybody. That food is good there, like really good.
Better than a Honda Center where you're going to be tomorrow night. Hey, appreciate you taking this call and hopping on as always. Absolutely love it, and curious how things play out here in the next few days.
Okay, thanks for having me on. I don't know if you put a picture up of me like while I was on the phone. Like on the phone now.
We did.
You did? You did?
Yeah.
Did I have hair? Is it like an old picture?
No. Next time though, even if we can do it video, let's do it this way, and we'll find. I have that old hockey card that used to have the police officers used to hand out in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
We'll put that one. I'll grab it from my mom's basement and we'll put it up.
That's beautiful. That's hockey right there. Okay, yeah. I am all down for that.
Thanks, Mooner. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Talk to you later.
Edmonton Oilers voice on the radio. So he calls a great game. Long-time Red Deer Rebels play-by-play guy as well. Oh, man. That's great. Yeah, that was our NHL Insider for Sports Select. Make your picks online, generate QR code, scan away. Every bet is 100% legal. A chance of winning cash in hand. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly. It's the Sports Cage. We're in the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. CFL Global Draft today. The Riders getting a couple of players in that. First off, they selected Mapalo Mwanza from Peterborough, England. He was on the Carolina Panthers practice squad last year as a linebacker, and also Kansei Matsuzawa, kicker from Japan. We're efforting to find out if that's first ever Japanese-born player to suit up with the Riders. He played for the University of Hawaii. Check out this. Riders signed an offensive lineman today, Percy Lewis IV. Played at Ole Miss. He's 6'8", 380. If you're going to camp, keep an eye out for him. Hockey tonight. Montreal, Tampa Bay tied 2-2. Philly hosting the Pens, and Vegas, Utah tied 2-2. They go tonight as well. Blue Jays beat the Red Sox 8-1. That's your sports ticker for Extreme Hockey and Sport. More than hockey, they got baseball, they got lacrosse right now. Under new management, 3 locations, McIntyre Street in Regina, the Cooperator Center, and now Temple Gardens Center in Moose Jaw. Crofty from Croft Electric is joining us on the line right now. Crofty, my computer crashed, so I can't even pull up your sexy website. What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, you guys are on fire down there today. I want to talk about, we were out meeting one of our farm clients this morning, around noon today, and everybody's getting antsy for spring and summer. Like it's, we keep getting teased with some summer weather, spring weather, but everybody's starting to get antsy for those summer projects. So, now's the time to get us out and have a conversation. Look at what you want to do. Let's plan ahead. Let's find the most cost-effective solution for whatever your project is, your problem is. The best way to do that, become part of our preferred customer program. That kind of thing. Like all of us, we're getting antsy for summer. I'm sure you're getting antsy to go out and get on the roof.
Absolutely, and I might need some electrical work because the last thing a guy or girl wants to do is try and pull something off themselves, whether it's around the house or at the cabin, the farm, whatever. Just call the professionals.
100%. We're electricians, and I always say I'm a rancher on the side on the weekends. Screwing around with the 4 or 5 cows I got and 4 or 5 horses. But I play. I'm a real electrician, and we don't want the ranchers and farmers to pretend to be electricians on the weekends. That's a way different outcome. We want to make sure you hire professionals. We'll make sure. It's done right, done once. Do it right, do it once, as we say, and safe.
Are you watching any of the NHL playoffs?
I am. That Oiler goal hurt me. I am an Oiler fan. So, even though I know I've seen all the graphics of people, the little guy that put the circle around the puck and the line on there, yes, technically, if you go by that, it probably could have been in. But nobody saw it. You can't see it, and that's the rule.
We saw it in all the videos. Everybody clearly saw it. Common sense prevails there, Crofty. It's like red to red, black to black, and a ground wire. Common sense.
And once in a while you hook that red to black though, and good things happen.
All right, buddy. How do they find you?
Follow us on all our socials, and that keeps you up to date with these promotions and our Tip Tuesdays. The website you're just talking about, www.croftelectric.com. There is a, request a quote page on there. But for sure, during regular business hours, the best place to get a hold of us is 306-586-1333.
All right, Crofty. Have a good one. Watch some hockey tonight. Take it all in, and we'll catch up with you again.
Sounds good. Have a great night.
Danny Croft from Croft Electric. You need anything done on the electrical side, and just you get to talk to a guy like that as well if he's coming by. You can probably request him. He can loves to chat, pour a nice coffee and have a chat. It is the Wednesday edition of the Sports Cage for Regina Motor Products. Early tire swap offer on now. Book before April 30th. Save $10 on an on-rim, $20 on an off-rim changeover. Visit our MP today. Okay, hour 3 is going to play out like this. We are going to have the new head coach and general manager of the Swift Current Broncos join us. Dave Thomas caught up with Mike Pinball Clemens up in Saskatoon just a little bit ago. And if we have time, we're going to hit Luke Mullinder from hour 1. Just fantastic insight from our football insider, Luke Mullinder. That's coming up. It is a Sports Cage on this Wednesday. Again, for Regina Motor Products. We'll be back. Welcome back. Wednesday edition of Sports Cage. Go back, podcast form as always, wherever you listen to podcasts, if you missed any of it, or you can watch it in YouTube later. Show so far. Lots of CFL draft audio heard from Jeremy O'Day off the hop. Also, Luke Mullinder join us. We're going to play part of that again here in this hour. Great stuff from Luke. As always, Cam Moon, voice of the Edmonton Oilers, joined us in hour 2. We still are hoping to have the new head coach and general manager of the Swift Current Broncos on with us momentarily, and also Dave Thomas and Pinball Clemens from up in Saskatoon. So a lot going on here. Yeah, again, if you're wondering about the putting green giveaway, I know we had a text message come in on that. Everything's closed up. We're awarding it Friday. Coming up here Friday, get to give somebody a backyard putting green. Again, thanks to the Classic Landscape Company who partnered with us in this. They do professional work. So if you need any landscaping thing, or you want to get your own putting green if you don't win, or fake turf, or real turf, whatever, the Classic Landscape Company can help you out. I like to do in this day in music today, not so much this day in sports, actually. One that caught my attention and I started reading up on a bit. In 1986, Auburn running back Bo Jackson was the first pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then I started going, Tampa Bay picked Bo Jackson? But there was a whole schmozzle, as my mom likes to say, because they flew him in and he was still in college, and that was illegal. And they told him it was cleared by the NCAA. And then he got in big caca. So then he said, hey, you take me. I'm not playing for you. And they did anyway. And then he went back in and ended up landing with the Los Angeles Raiders. Bojack, what an athlete. That 30 for 30 is something great. Western pizza tonight. Why wouldn't a guy or girl grab a pie, any of the Greek favorites, watch some hockey? Colson, you're going to maybe flip that over. We should give people an update on that. Out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now, joining us, new general manager, head coach of the Swift Current Broncos, Travis Crickard. I had to wear the lid today. I spent time cutting my radio teeth in Swift Current back in 98, 99. I've seen that barn packed. Eastern Conference Final against Kootenai. What's it feel like, Travis, to be part of like a storied franchise, small one, but just to be a part of the Broncos now?
I'm super excited. I know I've said it a few times, and whoever's going to hear me say this maybe for the third or fourth time, I think that anyone who puts on a Broncos sweater or stands behind the bench of the Broncos has a pretty, I think, more unique opportunity than perhaps some other teams. Smaller community, so you really have a chance to maybe have a bigger impact on the community itself, and learning and knowing how much the team rallies around, or how much the community rallies around the team is also something that's pretty special. I got to experience that once in junior hockey. I loved it as a player, so I would think that the guys who get the chance to wear the Broncos sweater would take great honor in that too.
Do you feel that you just knocked the interview out of the park, or what?
Well, gosh, I mean, I think I said some good things because I got the job, so I guess I did okay. But hey, I'll tell you what, those guys on the Swift Current Broncos board, they asked some hard questions, and funnily enough, they did their homework too. I remember kind of waiting to hear back or going through the process, and there was a couple times that I got text messages at 11:30 p.m., 12:30 a.m. from people who I've either worked with or coached with somewhere along the lines, saying, hey, I just heard from someone with the Swift Current Broncos. Are you interviewing there? They just called to check you out. So yeah. They were pretty thorough in their process.
What kind of coach are you?
I think I'm someone who, I like to communicate a lot with the players. I like to communicate a lot with the staff. I also really try to preach starting again every single day, regardless of kind of what happened the day before. We could have a great game. We could have a poor game. We could have a great practice, a poor practice. That's not really going to help us in the present moment. So I'm someone who preaches that a lot, someone who expects that a lot. And then I think the second thing for me is I always want the players and the staff coming to the rink excited or feeling a sense of happiness in anticipation of what's to come. I think that seasons can get pretty long, especially in the months of November when it's getting close to Christmas, or late February when it's edging toward playoffs. So we as coaches need to maybe bring that excitement up some days and get the guys wondering what are they going to have for us today when they come to the rink. And then from a coaching side of things, my philosophy is simple. I want to create an environment where players can grow, compete, and be held to clear standards. We want players who are humble enough to learn, hungry enough to improve, and honored to wear the sweater so that they're putting the team first.
Clear standards. That's key. That's a good thing. The coaches, the clear standards. I like that. Okay, I got to get into this, man. I'm going through your coaching history. We got Ottawa there. Then we go to Okanagan. Who doesn't love the interior? And you go to Kelowna. And then I think is that New Zealand or Australia in there? And then back Quebec. And then you're all over the map coaching. How does this happen? Is it kind of like your playing career, because you're born in Newfoundland and then you play in Manitoba?
Okay, well, there's a couple of stories to unpack there. I'll start with the last part. The Manitoba thing, playing in Flin Flon, a bit of a unique story there. My father actually, once upon a time, lived in Flin Flon. He was a manager of the Bay, I believe. And growing up, he always told me about his 3 years living in Flin Flon, how he became a season ticket holder of a junior team there. Community was rallied around the team all the time. Great arena, really rowdy crowd. It would be a junior hockey player's dream to kind of play in front of that crowd. So I actually wrote the coach when I was 16 or 17 this story, and basically asked for a tryout. And he granted me the opportunity. I went out there, tried out, and made the team. So that's how I ended up there, simply based on my father's storytelling. New Zealand was a bit different. Their season runs counter to the North America. So it runs from May to August. And I was heading to New Zealand for a different purpose, not to go there for hockey. I was actually there to try to learn some things from the All Blacks rugby team, got to know some people who are in hockey, started doing two things. One, traveling the country, helping people learn how to coach hockey, because not a lot of hockey players there. Most people play rugby or cricket.
Yeah.
So that was number one. Then number two, I started helping out a team. And as the kind of summer wore on, they had asked me would I take over as the GM. And I had agreed to it just for the rest of that season, because I was there. I committed to being there for the rest of the summer. And I left, and I kind of helped them a little bit with recruiting imports to go there over our winter. So I'm back in Kelowna now. And they asked me if I'd be willing to kind of take on the general manager role full time. And so I basically did that for, I think it was about 2 more years. Two more years till we could kind of get the team to a good place competitively. That when I joined them, they were really struggling. They needed a lot of help. And once I felt like the team was kind of in better shape, they had good processes in place for recruiting imports or bringing up new players. Felt like it was a good time to step aside, but really probably the primary reason to step aside was my wife and I started having children. So can't be working 2 jobs at the same time.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. We got about a minute and a half here left. I want to ask Potsdam, what did you take in college?
So I was taking public health and pre-med. I was on a path to try to go to medical school, and I got injured in my senior year, and I wanted to try to redshirt and return the following year. And my coach actually had a meeting with me to to discuss my future plans of redshirting, and he asked me if I would consider coaching rather than playing. So that just tells you what he thought about my ability to play right there. I'll tell you, I was pretty pissed off when I left that meeting, but some time went by and kind of like took stock of things. I'm 24 years old. Like, really, what am I going to do? I might maybe play a little bit of minor pro. I've always considered myself a bit of a leader, so I should maybe look to get into coaching. So completely change career trajectory, so to speak.
This is so cool. I feel like we could go for like an hour. It's be a podcast episode, and your career. We'll catch up again for sure. It's such a good spot. If you do, I don't know if your kids are with you and all that. Swift Current to raise a family, great. And I think pound for pound could be the best Chinese food in Saskatchewan. Wong's. If you haven't had it yet.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I've had it.
Okay. All right, Travis. Thanks for doing this, man. Let's catch up again.
Thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it.
There he is. New head coach and GM in Swift Current, Travis Crickard. Got a good one there. Yeah, his coaching resume is awesome. He's been around for a young guy, seen a lot of different, which was great, strategies. And if anyone wants to go look it up, it's quite interesting. It is a Sports Cage. We're on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. All right, Montreal Canadian fans, you are up 1-0 early on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The series tied 2-2. Also tonight, Philly trying to finish off the Pens, and Vegas, Utah. Their series is 2-2 is the late game. Blue Jays win 8-1 today. Riders, if you missed it in the global draft, they pick up a linebacker who's from England, spent some time with the Carolina Panthers practice squad last year, Mapalo Mwanza, and also Kansei Matsuzawa. He's a kicker from Japan who kicked for Hawaii. Sports ticker for Regina Steelcraft Doors. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Regina Steelcraft Doors. Earlier today, there he is. I see him right there. Our man, Dave Thomas. Davey, you had a chance to catch up with the pinball.
All right, thanks so much, Barney. Here in Saskatoon, getting set for the Dogs Breakfast with the guest of honor, Pinball Clemens. Yes, Michael Clemens, who comes to us from Toronto and the Argonauts. First and foremost, the biggest question, how do you like your eggs?
Ooh, scrambled, definitely, with cheese.
With cheese?
Yeah, scrambled with cheese.
Well, you're lucky. There's no calorie count tomorrow at the Dogs Breakfast, but there will be 1,400 people there. What do you think you're in for?
Well, when I think of being in Saskatchewan, right? It's just this overwhelming feeling of green, right? Green persists, and green actually kind of, there's the anticipation, right, of growth and vitality and all of those wonderful things. But I guess more than anything, when you come to Saskatchewan, you have a great time.
Absolutely, and it will be a good time tomorrow as it's a fundraiser for student athletes. And obviously you being a former student athlete yourself, your humble beginnings and transforming that into what's become a lifelong professional football career. What does this starting point mean for kids?
There's a saying, is not how you start, it's how you finish, right? However, right, how you finish is predicated upon those things that come from getting that start, right? And so we don't ever want to diminish that. There's a saying that adversity in life is guaranteed. Is not whether or not we have adversity, but how we deal with it that will determine our success. So we will be challenged. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, you will be challenged. And as we begin to facilitate ways for our young learners to actually have a pathway to do different things, right? Not only play football, right, but become engineers and school teachers and the like. When they have that ability, when we help them to take that first step, and I'll talk about a little bit about my first step as well. But if we can take that first step, that really is that's what most of us need.
Let's talk a little bit about the two types of student athletes that you're going to meet tomorrow. Number one being the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, defending Hardy Cup champions, raising money for scholarships to give them an opportunity to focus on not just football, but school and beyond school and academics. Talking about them and the opportunity they had through the CFL draft last night. It's kind of a full circle thing, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, it is. And yeah, just getting a chance to talk to the young people on the phone. And I talked to all of the players that we drafted on the phone, and then another young man this morning that was just riveting. He was so grateful and when we can give our young people a hand up, not a handout, right? It works so much better.
The other prong is that there's going to be a ton of high school athletes that are going to be there. Women's game, flag football game. They have an opportunity to see you, a person that they may only get an opportunity to see on television. What's your message going to be to them? Because really the sky could be the limit for them.
Well, when you sort of say, what are you going to say to them? I'll have something planned. And then something that morning will send me a totally different route, right? So we will, though, really just speak to the idea of you're more than enough, right? That you are capable of more than you think, and that you're not alone. Right? That your community is here to support you. Your community is here to help you.
I was looking back to see when you joined the front office of the Toronto Argonauts, and I'm like, man, I remember booing him at Taylor Field. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But in saying that, boy, has the game not transformed from the student athlete level, not just with what they're doing academically. You've got players that are taking engineering degrees, but you've also got athletes that seem to continue to raise the bar.
Again and again and again, right? You just the ultimate thing here is that our young people are amazing. They truly are, and the more we give them chances, the more we give them opportunities, the more they shine. And so that is, I think, the concept here that we're capable of more than we think of, and sometimes we need just a little bit of help to identify that, a little bit of encouragement, a little push, and it doesn't matter who you are, right? You could be the child of someone who's extremely successful, right? Or you could have a troubled upbringing, right? The two of them don't seem to make, in the end, right? As long as we have people who support, right? The end doesn't have to be like the beginning.
Okay, I need to ask you one more question about the CFL. Of course, there were some changes that were announced yesterday. Now, I'm going to tell you what people have been asking me, and my response has been, people, you know what, my wife says that we should move the couch. And I say, that's a great idea, but until I see where the couch has been moved to, I don't really have an opinion because I can't foresee what that might look like. It's pretty exciting, though. What is your take on the schedule and the potential and the new playoff picture?
Well, with that, I think giving an opportunity, we have a gentleman who's in office now who has been in charge of television, our broadcast, and that's probably that's certainly one of, if not the most important thing in terms of our growth and expansion here has been television and people getting a chance to see it and experience it. And when you experience Canadian football, you realize that it's the best football in the world. And so consistent with that, every decision that you make, right, on that football field isn't the right one, right? That's a part of it. Yeah. But in the end, what we hope to do is have enough great plays to come out with a win, right? So it's not about all the details, right? Because the details will tell us at some point, no, this is not good, and we're going to redirect, right? And you can do that. And in this off the field, we have more than 3 downs.
Michael Pinball Clemens, before I let you go, you know what? You look like you could hop out onto the field and play right now. There are guys that you talk to that have retired and aren't playing anymore. Say, do you have one more play in you? Do you have one more play in you? And if so, You played with a lot of great players. Who's handing you the football off in the backfield?
You know, the guy who's handing me the football is, without question, Doug Flutie, right? And then I'll, very quickly take a knee.
Well, no knees tomorrow. I'm going to do my best on the cheese and your eggs.
Right.
Thank you for doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Real pleasure, okay?